Welcome to part number 7 of my Imperator Rome playthrough as Rome. We did quite a bit of expanding. I got some sleep, woke up the next day, reassessed the situation, and I've been talking a lot about raising cohorts or legion, using 4 innovations to move forward here to cohorts or professional training, which will enable the legion in the capital before the Marian reforms law hits. But really, what do I get? I never build one of these military provincial improvements. Starting experience, I could care less. Discipline 5% is nice, but 3 innovations for that is not really worthwhile. And then another 5% discipline and experience decay is nice, but there's a law you can get 0.10, or I mean a policy. And also we have quite a bit that we get. The mod gives double what you would usually get to myself as well as all the other AIs. So there's quite a bit of mill experience about, irrespective of whether I get that 0.5 tick or not from the law. So those 4 innovations could be better spent elsewhere, say on forced march. I get a general here, general loyalty, supply limit, more supply limit, army movement speed, and then forced march is 5 or 6 innovations as opposed to the 4 here. This is would get me to both, so I'm going to take this. So really it's only 3 to professional training to get it early, because I'm going to go to forced march irrespective of what I do. And this doesn't really play well into my glorious world conquest without militant Epicureanism or the spear. But be all that as it may or may not be, I'm thinking, at least right now, on waiting for the Marian reforms and the AI. I think it can hit at 520, which is, in theory, more time than we've already spent in the game. But time can tend to pass more quickly as you begin to engage larger targets, such as a proper war out of Carthage would get us, I think, a fair clip of AI or AE. And then Scythia has taken over the Bosporan Kingdom here. In fact, why don't we go ahead and drop a claim on Scythia and liberate Taurica, perhaps. There's the Antigonid Kingdom with Attendant. We need this guy to integrate his client states, etc. There's no way to cope with that. It's not a large outfit per se on the land that he holds, although it is large, especially relative to our ability to engage with it. As we only have 3 mercenary armies and our Italic Legion, essentially everything else, or levy, everything else is essentially not particularly potent. We have something coming up in Magna Graecia. Everything else is not really actionable. The question is, do I wait? It could put a... Relative to my goal of not using militant Epicureanism, the War of the Spirit, it doesn't really play well into that dynamic unless I can find a way to lever these lack of spending these 3 innovations on something else that will. You could make the case that these they are better spent elsewhere. As to whether it's true or not, it's not 100% exactly true, but if we are to head down here, like say we get 2.5% aggressive expansion impact here, there's 1 innovation that I would save. It means we get less, we have to burn down less. Then you can end up here for Diplomatic Traditions Great Wonder. The tribute income is like whatever, but this Great Wonder at the top tier grants a 0.5 or a plus 15 diplomatic reputation bonus, 0.20 integration speed, and allows 5 more subjects or slots available. So in theory, if you take over the Temple of Zeus, create various smaller client states, you could integrate them really quickly, in theory at least. So that would be a way to avoid the aggressive expansion and sort of keep a constant flow of integration rolling along. Just so long as they don't get too big or large. In the first Roman playthrough, there was a big fat city-state somewhere around here, Fantasia or something like that, and it just wouldn't integrate because I was lax in my creation of the smaller client states. I just kept giving it more and more. But I think that's the point of that diplomatic traditions wonder. And the 15 diplomatic reputation will do quite a lot for our aggressive expansion burn. We don't have any diplomatic reputation right now, but let's say that we wanted to import some honey. Do we have? We can do it. So we'll take 2 and see what happens there. We can always cancel these routes. So now we have just a meager 3 diplomatic reputation, and we're burning down 0.09 down here, the diplomatic rep. So we're burning down half of our base of 0.7, so we're getting another 0.3 tick. If that turned to 15, well, 9 times 5 is 45. So about half of that 7's, call it 3, we'll round it down. Times 5 is just another 15 per, 0.15 tick per. It's not a lot, but it's something. If we spend some time down, which necessarily we're going to have to do, if we want to conquer the world without the militant Epicureanism or the War of the Spear, that thing is useful. And so really we'd want to spend the innovations there. As to whether we could have both, we probably could, but this gets us closer here as well. War score cost, we can take more for less, or the same war. There's more aggressive expansion there. Another couple of merc armies here. Yeah, maybe we'll wait. Anyway, these armies, I hired a couple of smaller mercs from Sicily. I'll never use them in a larger engagement, so there's no danger in just hiring them, having them assault these forts, and then piecing out. So I'm going to take over, well, let's get them fully in position first. Okay, so we're about maxed out here. I'm not really sure that this guy is going to get the job done, but we'll find out. We may have to call up our meager Magna Graecian levy. These 2 are allied, so we can attack both, trigger that war. It's just the 2 of them. So we can then head here and see about assaulting both those. I'm almost 100% sure we're going to have to call up our levy irrespective of what happens. So let's split it. We'll send half into either so the assault goes through seamlessly. Let's order these assaults. 1 and 2. It looks as though both have worked, and we can now piece out. And take these, and then complete our mission as well. We need more tyranny, clearly. These mercs have done their job. Let's let them go. And I think we can now complete that mission here. We can't. I had misread that another nation exists on Sicily. They don't. Our old friend Lucini has returned to his proper fighting form. Let's go ahead and hire him. We'll hire either of these 2 as well. And see about taking out the Sardinian tribes in the central portion here. And then we'll work through the unruly population mission. Also noted that those barbarians had been a recurring theme, so I'm building some forts up here, even however much I may not like spending the money. This should insulate Italy from any sort of barbarian incursions going forward. Also moved quite a few pops, essentially moved all the Romans out of these territories here that are not already in cities, so there shouldn't be any Romans in the field that are not in cities. They're not. I'm going to send some gifts out to our various vassals here. Doesn't really cost much. Will increase their opinion, maybe make them more agreeable to integration at a time when it's actionable, which is not quite yet. I think they won't integrate until 487 or thereabouts, but it doesn't hurt anything as it's relatively cheap. I'm going to drop a claim here in Genuatia, just because. Along the lines of our diplomatic conquest plan, or reimagined world conquest with the diplomatic traditions wonder, I note we have only 2 provinces or 2 territories here that can be released and sent forth to conquer Istria and Veneto, Carnia. I think if we attack Veneto, Istria, Raetia, and Cenomania will get triggered. So we can use this would-be client state here to annex some of Istria and Veneto. And I think maybe we could create a client state here as well. I don't want to release this entire province, but in theory I could create one here and have it annex Cenomania and Raetia and split Veneto between this client state. You could have this client state annex Istria and like this portion of Veneto, and have this theoretical client state annex these territories here, leaving me unburdened by all the aggressive expansion and trouble. I'd have to make them Roman and Hellenic, which they're not particularly not approaching that threshold very quickly, but we don't have to keep the capital in this area. We can change the provincial capital as long as we're at peace here. And we could then evacuate these 4 slaves out, move 3 Roman pops in, and make a Roman Hellenic client. Let's see our number of, we have exactly 1 diplomatic relation left. But we have, as I was mentioning, these 3 innovations that we're not going to use on professional training, which could be levered, as I mentioned earlier, to grab us another diplomatic slot somewhere in some way to increase our number of relations. Well, I did a search on relations and ran it through all the trees. I didn't expect to find anything anywhere else, religious, civic, or martial, and I didn't. We have taken this, we've taken that. There's this pretty far down there. We're not going to go there. There's this off in sort of the middle of who knows where. We'll change governor policy. We'll not take that or that to get there. And that is the end of that. We've taken 1, 2, and 3 already, and that's the size of it, really. So there's no way to increase our relation slots, at least efficiently. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it here. This is going to give us an integration speed bonus. We're not going to do that. We could get 1 more relation with a neutral stance. We'll not do that either. We have permanent ambassadors we could use as an oratory policy, but it's not available until technology level 8. will not do that either, really. So here we are. Here we are. We need to integrate our vassals as quickly as possible. The Great Wonder in Olympia does not give us an extra relation. I was thinking the pyramids might, but number one, we'd have to get there, and number two, they don't. Number three, there's nothing that says we can't have a really large client state. Like if I were to release these two sparsely populated territories with 5 pops here and 2 pops there, and that's before I move the non-Romans out and move the Romans in. So that wouldn't give us any integration malice for these pops. We could have him, or that client state, take over this area, all of Veneto, all of Cenomania, and all of Raetia, meaning that it wouldn't integrate anytime soon. Also meaning that, who cares? Just so long as it integrates at some point. These other smaller states here will integrate. Lusaba will integrate at some point, and we'll be able to get the ball rolling. It's not an egregiously large client state to where these are, well, there are quite a few pops there, all right. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but it will happen at some point before the end of the game. We won't take any AE for it. In theory, he'll Hellenize and Romanize the area for us. Maybe even build a couple of cities there with his own PI as opposed to our PI. And he'll also probably hold down and build forts here to where we won't need these, but, well, we'll see what happens with that. I'm thinking that could be a viable something to do in between now and 520 or thereabouts when our Marian reforms become available. We also make money hand over fist, and I'm sure that if we were to raise the nobility or noble count in our cities here, 1, we get more trade routes, and 2, our levies would change from this ratio to having heavy cavalry in the mix, which is more advantageous for us. So along those lines, I'm going to start to build, say, academies in these areas. Slowly building or trying to change the ratio of my levy upward. It should also diddle the ratio of the city to where there will be less slaves and more nobles. So that should get us a higher legion and levy count as well. So I'm going to see about dredging up some Roman pops and releasing this as a client state right now. Okay, so there are 4 pops here that can't be moved. There are only 2 pops here. So if we switch the capital, we'll lose some loyalty, but we don't care because it's going to be a client state shortly. So we need to find 3 Romans to move up here. Well, it was an idea. There are no mobile Romans available anywhere in this province so far, anywhere in all of our territories here. But moving forward, I'm sure there will become Romans that are available. Like, for instance, there should be Romans. Let's see. I evacuated our 2 meager Romans up here to form this client state, and now I have no new Romans available that no one has assimilated as yet. There must be Romans around somewhere. They're not, though. As we're only 31 years into the game, so I just have to wait. Normally, with such a large swath of territory, I would assume, and did assume, that there would be Romans about just here or there, but apparently we broke the bank by moving the 2 Romans up here to form Lusaba, and we'll just have to wait. It's not a poor idea, really, to get something actionable through here. I was thinking that Pontus would be a good place to have a claim just because, and then Armenia we would want to have some actionable item there. Let's do that as well. Why not drop a claim here as well? A couple of cities there we could claim, build some theaters, temples, get a Roman core here. I'm going to bar the ISIS cult. Okay, I have these mercs positioned. We're pretty high on manpower, so why not call up our Italic levy here? We can split it in half. See about going and helping with this this matter. Alright, we can declare the war right now. Let's they're both affiliated. We can attack. I'm gonna send these mercs in first. We'll do the assault and then follow up with our levies if necessary. Alright, let's roll this assault right here. We won that other battle. We can assault there as well. Looks as though we've done it. And we've done it. We didn't need our levy. And let's go ahead and disband it. We're at war. Okay. A martial advance. And we can peace out for 3 AE. Good for us. We have an event here. We can take some money or whatnot, or some stability and tyranny reduction. We'll do that. Well, with that having finished, I think we can now choose this unruly population, and perhaps there's nothing special about this merc. He's not particularly good at what he does. He's a 5 marshal, so we can always rehire them or whatnot. This guy is keep him around just on general principle, I suppose. We can release a tribal vassal. I don't really want to do that. So we can action this submission as well. We found a colonia. 5, 6, 7. We'll take 7. We can do this as well. Looks like Sardinia has revolted, and we'll send our merc up there to siege it down. We have some aggressive expansion. If I go out and take more, what do I get? I don't have any sort of modifier. Like no, if I had a high aggressive expansion, I would get a modifier where I would take less. So I'm not really incentivized to go war right now. So why should I? I'll run it down to 0 and just wait. Normally the higher it is, the more we'll burn down, but we burn considerably more with our high tyranny, 0.36, than we do, well, not considerably, but we do burn more with our tyranny than we do with other matters. We have a minor addendum. We can take stability. We don't really need it. I assaulted this. We should be able to peace out. We can and will. I'm going to build some theaters in these cities in Sardinia. I've come into some cash. Relatively inexpensive, sort of. Let's see, my academies should be finished. There's nothing showing as building at present, so all of our territories except Ostia has an academy. We'll start another round. Also, we can now start the breadbasket. Claims are hitting again. Along the lines of having 3 innovations and not going to cohorts, I plan to do a lot of building, as we're going to need theaters and temples in various areas, as we're not going to be able to artificially spike our stability with militant Epicureanism. So this 10% is quite reasonable, and it's going to save us quite a bit of money over the longer term. Does it go anywhere? No, it's a dead end. Did I want this? 5% import value? Not really. Should I build another city in Latium? Should I build another 2 cities in Latium? I'm going to build one more. Our insular forts here have gone up, so that should give us a wall against any incursion. They have to cross here, 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 or come down through here. Making quite a lot of money. I'm going to move some pops to Fundi, and maybe build, we'll build another city right there. That'll put all urban except for these grain farms. Both have farms, right? They do. I was looking over my offices. Some pop-up came about, and I'm not sure how this Popularis minor character became the Tribunus Militum. But I note that we have this character here who's a member of a great family, very young, on the verge of being scorned great family, I might add, with quite a high oratory. So we can place her here, get her statesmanship up, and then get her ready to replace either of these two should they die of early of whatever, dysentery, murder, etc. et al. As to why this guy is there as well, I don't really know. I don't know. He's got to be agitated because we have grateful families. Faction approval, let's see. 8.28 down. So it's not only costing us PI, but it's getting him closer to being mad. And I think the Populares profit by it as well, relative to their stature. So off he goes. We'll find a suitable replacement. Let's see here. There we go. 3 of 3 there as well. We also have the ability to change various laws. Let's see if we want any of this. We don't really. Pop demotion, noble happiness 2% is nice. We could change integrated. Let's go with this. The logic being that the wrong culture, wrong religion nobles will demote faster down to freemen, which is where we'll have them set if we conquer something, and our nobles that are primary culture will be that much happier, and or the wrong culture, wrong religion will at least get a 2% bonus while they're still nobles before they demote. So it should instill quite a bit of loyalty, although it doesn't appear to be that way on the front page version there, but I think it'll lever up. Both of those things come together very well to allow us to have a relatively low stability and still maintain loyalty. Because demotion sounds bad, right? Like, who wants demotion? You want promotion, but actually in this case it's good. I'm going to start building up loyalties in this province here. It's slowly bleeding. We need to get it assimilated. I moved all of the pops that can be moved out of this territory here down toward Rome for our new cities that are coming online. They didn't make it very far, as a lot of them ended up in some of these cities, which were less than adequately full as well. Looks as though we can close this mission out and grab 2 free provincial improvements. Looks like we can increase the slave ratio, which we don't want, or we can increase the citizen ratio, integrated culture happiness, except we'll do that. And then finish. Let's see what's here. We have, I see. Yeah, we'll pay. Matter of Italia. Has to do with conquering Italy, or this region of Italia. We've already done that. Well, as we're in no hurry, we're not going to be going at Greece until we get some siege engineers, Eastern Glory. Let's see what's in there. Rome owns at least 3 cities in Arminium. We have only 2, so we'd have to not only build another, but completely fill their coffers with various buildings, which we don't really want to do. So we'll just skip that whole part and wait. I see. I think this barbarian just assaulted my fort. Wonder if we can take him. I've never seen them assault before. It's over for him. The question now is what to do. I think I have a claim here. It must have hit by now. It has. Could hire more mercs and take these guys out just because. I think because why not? Hire a couple of mercs here. These are chariot men. They're reasonably good at what they do, but I don't think we'll need the help. Sort of need some pops to move down to our newly created cities here, and these are not exactly 100% filled either in through here. Just waiting on the Romanization of the various pops in the countryside. Like here we have another, and then we have another. I generally move one Roman in, and then I just move 3 into this city. So if I move 1 in, I'll move another 1, 2, 3 per. Then I know that the Roman will promote. And these guys will assimilate at some point. So we're getting to the point where we have a parity with the Etruscans. The Romans may or may not be the majority as per this thing's opinion. It looks like they are. There's no malice to assimilation. So the 10-10 is good. If it were 11-10, it would be a sure thing and there would be no malice. I checked here for more Romans. There are not any yet. This pop here, singular pop, will assimilate at some point. Let's declare this war and have at it. Ho, 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 ho. Let's cancel that access. And declare the war. There's not a lot to see there. It's going to be a slaughter. I think they were on low maintenance with their forts. They started at 250 here, 300 here. And that's the end of that. We'll take 7 AE and peace out. Let's see if I can move some of these newfound pops down into our new cities in Rome coming up. Let's spend a couple more improvements on pop capacity that we just got from that mission. It looks as though Carthage is at war with what's left of Massilia. We got our claims in Iberia, what there is of it. Here. Our city has popped at least one of them. I just finished moving pops about here. There's a bit of overcrowding here and there, but mostly it's filled. Maybe we build an aqueduct, or maybe just not worry. Saw through a fair clip of gold, but we make a lot, and we still have 700 in the bank. Carthage is doing their thing. And these territories, I didn't do a thing with them because they're just quite far away relative to our gold hoard and income. I just took the pops out of this province here and put them into Latium. When does this Fundi city hit? Or the Carcioli? Let's see here. It's 145 days, so relatively soon. I need another 19 pops or so or whatnot here. It's a reasonable time to call an episode. What to do in between here and now when our Marian reforms hit. We'll probably just pick away at smaller targets. Something may happen. We have claims about to where we can pounce if an opportunity does arise. Like here, he's in the middle of a civil war. We could attack him, but this is not much of a civil war. Pontus is in a war with whom not. We could attack, but why do it? Scythia, on the other hand, there are probably won't encounter a lot of resistance up there, and it would open up this colonization territory, or the ability to colonize once we got some Roman pops in the area. There are a lot of cities here. At some point, he's going to turn them Scythian. He's already started. And he's going to de-Hellenize them, which he's also already started to do. So Maybe we'll go up and liberate Torica in the next episode, perhaps. I don't see an intervention with Carthage in his tiny little war here. Maybe that's what he wants. He wants us to get excited and attack him right now. Let's see if our levies is... Yeah. This light infantry is a problem relative to our manpower. We have a lot of cities, but we only have, again, the Roman culture and the Macedonian culture. Actually, we'll probably have a decent levy in Macedon. Or not. We integrated, didn't we? We did. There's just not many. With that having been said, let's call it an episode. I hope to see you in the next one.